And I want to say that this book is a super great example of what allyship looks like. And I wonder if we can talk a little bit about like the importance of supporting marginalized groups when you're not a part of it.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about, yeah, how you worded that question, Mike, and I appreciate it. I mean, it's important because our destinies are bound up together, right? Dr. King spoke about this often. Um, and Desmond Tutu also in what happened in South Africa, right? Ubuntu. So we are one, and therefore, I mean, there's a way in which allyship always can tend to become sort of this performative, sort of public gestural kind of thing, and I know, of course, we're here talking about the real thing. It's important because we are in it together, and when one of us is not free, none of us are free. And I think it's especially important for us to acknowledge that we need to steward whatever resources, opportunities, experiences, and social or ecclesial power that we have in service to others. I mean, this is really the story of the gospel. Christ, who did not consider equality with God something to be exploited, but rather made himself a servant. He expended himself for the good of others, died so that others might live. And I think in that same way, I mean, allyship at root is nothing more than us stewarding whatever opportunities we have to lift up others, and to expect the same of others, right? So it's not just a one-way street, and it's a multi-directional friendship, neighborhoodship that we share together. And in this case, I'm grateful. We're grateful to be able to do that on behalf of our African American friends and neighbors.
Yeah, and I want to just add to that. I think that the category. I understand the substance of the meaning of the language of allyship. I think our book is in some ways an expression of neighborliness, and it's not predicated. It acknowledges, and I think in some ways responds to the fact that there are these distinct groups of people who need to ally themselves with one another. But I mean, and that sociologically and historically is absolutely true, and we recognize that, and that's why we say the reparations is a two-party conversation. At the same time, what Duke said, in alluding to Dr. King, and Frederick Douglass said the same thing, at the head of the North Star newspaper, like, this is an expression of not simply of allyship across boundaries, but of solidarity, and an attempt to redraw boundaries around us to make one community that has the responsibility to repair this nation. And so we've ourselves felt the tension between the kind of universalist anthropology that the Christian faith gives us in the Imago Dei and the sort of sociological particularities that require us to have these kind of racialized conversations. And we're trying to hold those two things together.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out this video clip from the Delgado Podcast. To get more videos like this, simply subscribe here on YouTube. You can also download the full episode of each show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. Take care.